All right, we're about to go live. Let's see whether the volume's working. So let's have a look here. Who have we got on top so far? Sonny Jones is with us from Dallas, Fort Worth. Matt Burkhardt is with us. Now I got this. Come on, get up here. All right, sounds working. I think we're in good shape. Tammy's getting herself a drink. You in the background there. And we're waiting for a few people to join us. We've got a couple of people with us. Matt Burkhardt, good evening from NOLA. Where's NOLA? I don't know where that is. Tammy, you about ready here? Good. And let's find a microphone for Tammy. A few seconds here. Here we go. I love these little microphones. If you do any videos, these are Bluetooth. They're about less than $20 for a pair of them. And they can both be on at the same time. The old green light there. They're USB-C rechargeable. They last for probably 6 or 7 hours on charge. And they've got pretty good range. They've probably got 150 foot. So there's a little device that plugs into your Android or your iPhone. And then you just plug these things in. You can see I've got one here. And you get pretty decent audio. So much better than just using it. So if you're doing, YouTube videos, things like that, they're really good for that. Anyway, plug these things in. Let's see what we've got going on here. Tucson House of Frenchies says hi. Oh, Nola is in New Orleans. Well, I knew that. Tommy, Verified Kennels, blessing everyone. I know it's ideal weight till second heat cycle, 2 years of age, but I have a 1-year-old Frenchie. It is her first heat. Would you breed or wait? Health comes first. Absolutely, I breed it. So what we've been doing for a long, long time is we've been breeding dogs that are a year or older. And most of those dogs have had 2 heats at that point, but quite a few of them haven't. And it's certainly harder to get pregnant because their heat cycle may be a bit bouncy. And so you're waiting for numbers to come up and it may take you some time. So that's the negative side of a 1-year-old. But I've never, ever bred a 1-year-old dog, had a litter, and then thought, oh, that was a mistake. We should have done that. So, yeah, I'd go for it. The only reasons I wouldn't go for it would be that the dog's very small. If it's a very small dog, I'd wait. So when I say in a French Bulldog, it's a 16-pound dog, I'd probably wait. Or if the dog is very, very immature, I mean, it's really scatterbrained, then I might wait. But never bred one yet that I thought to myself, crap, that was a mistake, shouldn't have done it. So, and we've bred literally thousands of dogs, most of it for other people, because I get feedback from all those people too. If anybody has a problem breeding one of my dogs, I will hear about it. They're not going to just, they'll let me know there was an issue because, number one, they don't want to pay for a stud fee, which I fully understand. Number two is they want to know what the heck went wrong. And and of course, I do get those calls, by the way. I mean, things don't always work out perfectly. But I've never had a situation where we recommended they go ahead and breed the dog and they come back and say, we shouldn't have done that because of X, Y, and Z. What always the problem is the dog doesn't get pregnant. What happened? What do we do next time? That's the conversation. Matt Burkhardt says, just did a 90-month-old. She took, but never saw her first heat. Yeah, so that's the other thing is some dogs, most 50% of dogs, Frenchies anyways, they have a heat before they're a year old. We'd wait on those. The other half have a heat typically by the time they're a year and a half. It could be longer. In your case, it was 19 months, so it's a bit over a year and a half. Nothing to worry about at all. It's just a question of this heat cycle doing this bouncy numbers on the progesterone levels. And those dogs, if you're going to breed one of those dogs, I absolutely guarantee that when you think you're finished with your last breeding, or if it's a single breeding, whatever, when you think you're done with the breeding, check the progesterone level and make sure the progesterone level is high. In the case of an IDEX, over 15. In the case of a fine care, over 20. And if it's not, breed again. Because sometimes, the mistake that happens here is that people will breed a dog, and the vet will say, oh, she's a 5 or 9X machine. That's ovulation. Let's breed her in 2 days. You breed her in 2 days, she's a young dog, and in fact, if you did another progesterone test, you find out that the numbers might be close to 5 still. They might be 8, they might be 3. Or they might be 15 plus and you're off to the races, but it's quite common to see these, especially young dogs, where their numbers that you think are going up, I'll do an angle that way so you see, you think they're going up, but in fact they haven't, they've gone down. So just be careful about that. So, and Matt says 3 or 4 confirmed since she's 24 pounds. Yeah, great. Chris C says that loves you and Tammy. Thank you very much. We love you too. We've got Gentle Giants is with us. Renya who is with us. King Tattoos is with us. Rachel Rochester is with us. Sorry, Tam. Mama Bechawa says, my question about pups born gasping, other than suction, heat, accordion method, stimulation, mouth to mouth, and oxygen, is there anything else I can do to save these puppies? Thanks. Right, so let's talk a little bit just quickly. By the way, I'm going to have a conversation here with Tammy about this horrible sub-zero temperatures that are coming up this next few days.
Yeah.
And I think we need to have
our high's going to be like 1 degree.
-1. Oh, yeah, high.
Yeah, the high will be 1 degree for 2 days. I think that's Tuesday and Wednesday or Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday or Tuesday and Wednesday. One of those days we're having 2 days in a row. High of 1. It's cold.
Yeah. So Mama Bear asked about a question about pups born gasping. So I'm guessing the Chihuahuas, I'm guessing they didn't have a C-section. If they had a C-section, then I always get worried about too much anesthesia causing problems where puppies are taking a long time to come around. But I'm assuming the Chihuahuas, they were born naturally. So, you know, what do you do in these? And then I go also that they're not premature because it was, you know, it was a natural whelp, not again, the dog was opened up at some arbitrary time. What do you do? Well, this is what you do. Basically, what you're saying is that you need to have an incubator. You need to have an oxygen machine, not a nebulizer. You have a nebulizer as well, but primarily you have to have an oxygen machine. The incubator, oxygen machine, suction bulb so you can clean their noses out, feeding tube because you're almost certainly going to be tube feeding these puppies. Then that means you'll have goat's milk. And one other thing that I was going to say that is...
And every one of these products that he's mentioning is sold on our website, mybreedersupply.com.
That's right.
Oh, you heard me say that.
Light come green?
No.
Yeah, that's second. Hold it into the screen. There you go. Good deal. Right,
okay.
There was something else
so as I said, on mybreedersupply.com is where you'll find every one of those products that James mentioned. So go there and look, and sometimes we run sales. So
yes, the Educator's got something going on now. And then the other thing would be antibiotics. Of course, I don't think you'd be giving antibiotics to a puppy that was just born because it hasn't had a chance to have an infection. But if this develops into pneumonia, then Clavamox and Moxicillin, those would be the things that you definitely want to. You want to try close to me?
No.
Close to the camera?
I'm fine.
It makes me look like I've got a big head.
You do.
Okay. Well, let's have a conversation about these let's just have a conversation generally about temperature because it's not just about cold, it can be about heat too. So
can I have my phone?
Yeah, well, you have to share it with me.
I know I do.
All right. So one of the things you've got to watch out for is that things can fail. So when it gets very cold, for instance, we have in a couple of our places where we've got dogs, we've got air conditioners that are also heat pumps. Heat pumps don't work very well when it starts to get down to 0 degrees. And so I've got backup heat. I have a little portable heaters that I can put in those areas.
I like the oil heaters myself.
Well, it's electric. That's the important part. If you've got gas, fine. If you've got a... But the point here is anything can fail. And if it fails when it's that cold, there's not a lot of time before dogs can get in trouble. And one of the things that I have been working on, and I haven't got it finished yet, is basically an alarm system.
Heated floors are fantastic for this type of weather as well.
It's an alarm system for intrusion alarms and fire and flood. But also, it also detects whether the temperature's got too high or too cold. And if it does, it sets an alarm off. It's all battery powered. But the point here is that things can fail. And so when it gets this cold, I recommend that you check your dogs on a regular basis if they're not in the house with you to make sure they're okay.
Always.
And I mean, you can go buy
even if you have old kitty cats, you need to make sure they're okay too.
Yeah, our cats and our dogs are all bundled up tonight.
Yeah.
The cats.
If they don't show up at the house when I think they should, then I wait up on them to show up, and then they're bingo bango right where the
We're
heaters
talking about
are.
the cats now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the
not
cats.
the dogs.
Not the dogs.
The dogs.
The dogs are always put up.
We always know where the dogs are. So that's another
Cats
thing.
are uncontrollable.
Yeah.
They have their own thing.
So when we take our dogs out for a walk, when it's this cold, probably not going to do it. But if you do, I would absolutely have a jacket on the dogs
And protect their feet.
And protect their feet. Exactly. I'd have booties on them.
Little booties.
Because they can get frostbite in their feet.
Yeah.
And the problem is,
if it's this cold, you don't need to be out. Your dogs don't need to be out.
But
they need to be under.
Today when we
cover.
came home from Chanel's,
yeah,
and it's like 26 degrees outside, and that gate didn't close properly.
Yes.
And all the dogs are outside. Right, they're out there in the front yard, right?
And they're having a great time.
They're having a great time.
We let them out to go potty.
But they're supposed to be in the back area where there's an electronic gate, but that gate didn't close properly because it's cold, and they were just all of a sudden had access to go anywhere they wanted to. And so the problem with this is that they will go do exactly that and then get in trouble.
Oh, they feel good and feel like a little wild horse out there when the weather's changed.
Yeah, but
so
you gave them an hour out there, they'd be in trouble.
Oh yeah, not even an hour, James.
Right. They'd be in trouble.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying here is make sure that you have a way of monitoring that temperature if you can. If not, go check the temperature in those areas, certainly before you go to bed and first thing in the morning. And then if you have a backup heat source, for instance, you could plug in one of these electric heaters. Our temperatures back there is set to 72 to 74 degrees. Backup heater set to 65 degrees means that if the first thing fails, the backup will automatically work and it won't get below 65 degrees. And our dogs will not get in trouble at 65 degrees. They'll be fine. Right. So I think that's it for that one. But just I pay attention to this. And of course, the other thing is, if they're outside dogs, water will freeze. So watch out for that. If they're outside dogs, then you really got to have heaters in those kennels for them. If you've got big dogs, light bulbs are one way to go. They can get broken, but light bulbs is one way to go at this. I think the infrared kind of better. We've got a filament in them because they're much more robust. Got to be careful about dogs chewing electric cords and getting electrocuted, getting wet, getting electrocuted. Wind is a huge thing. If you can throw a cover over these things so they have to move a cover out of the way to get in and out is a good thing. Our dogs, if they're not outside, but when we had labs, those labs were outside some of the time, and they can be pretty destructive. And they don't realize that they're messing up their bedding area. They did that when it was nice outside and it was 50 degrees. They tore crap up, and it got to be 25 degrees at night. They have got to go out there and check them. Anyway. Right, can I take that from you? Good.
Yeah, I was. What? Okay, yeah. So, usually when it's their second heat cycle, and
there's another conversation we just had when you weren't here about heat cycles.
Okay.
Heat cycle.
Okay.
I'm going to go through them in order they came into today. Okay, where are we up to here? So Mr. Clean says, my female last heat was June last year. Do you know when her next heat might be?
Well, if that was last year, June.
Right. So she's now 9 months into this, right? So they've got a couple of things I'd say. But what would you say?
I would say that she's fixing to come in any time.
Yeah,
if she came into heat.
If she's a big dog, like a lab, could be longer.
No, could be shorter because our labs came in every 6 months.
Well, okay. So
the smaller the breed, the longer the heat in between heat cycles.
Well, you'd expect her to come into heat by now, but she hasn't. Should you be worried about it?
No, because this is
Yeah, it happens.
Just natural.
It happens.
And if she doesn't by the time she's, that would be, if she doesn't come into heat by next June, and then it's August, June, July, August, I'd go have her checked at the vet to see if she's got a thyroid problem.
Well, one of the things that if you've got
she should be coming in
other girls that are in heat, house her with other girls that are in heat. That can promote coming into heat. That really works well. There are products you can give dogs to bring them in heat, but we don't recommend those like PG600. They are not. It's the right way around. Yeah, I did eat that.
I don't think so.
So be patient. It's going to be all right. Almost always these dogs come back in the heat. I mean, occasionally they don't. And like Tammy says, blood test, check the thyroid level. Okay. Let's see. Natural Line says, good seeing it. Natural, we always like having you on here. You give good advice. And when we mess up, you almost always correct us and tell us what we've missed. And we appreciate that. Natural Line knows his stuff. Wicked Good Bulldogs says hello from Maine. Davis family says, hey, James, Stu and Zoe here. We know we will know Wednesday. I'm not sure what Wednesday was about.
Bred to Gobstopper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
good deal.
yeah.
Good.
Says right. She looks good. So if this is her first time being bred, you'll notice a nipple change for sure. But
yes. So when do you normally see that?
At about 2 weeks.
Yeah, or a bit longer maybe, but bigger nipples, right? They're really flat to their chest.
But you start seeing a nipple change in 2 weeks' time, usually. King
Tattoo says, how much fenbendazole per pound for 6-week-old puppies?
Isn't that on the bottle?
No, because it's goat worm. The answer is it's 1 cc per 5 pounds, regardless of what kind of a dog you're doing.
And you can also Google it too.
You can Google it, and I would suggest you would do that. But it's 1 mil per 5 pounds, 3 days in a row. So if you had a 10-pound dog, you'd get 2 mils. If a 20-pound dog, you'd get 4 mils.
Always, if you can't get the answer right away, you can always Google it.
Guess what Natural Line said?
What?
5 pounds per 1 cc or mil for every 5 pounds. He's on the money. He knows his stuff.
That he does. Thanks.
Cheech and Chong says, my vet doesn't believe in breeding second heat cycle.
That's the one I was reading, and you told me it was already been taken
I talked
care
about it.
of.
I've already spent money on a stud already.
Yeah, that's the one I was talking
do the breeding
about.
yourself. Do the breeding yourself. Look,
yeah,
you don't need the vet to do the AI. You can do it yourself.
And he's telling the vet's telling him that he wouldn't breed on the second cycle.
Oh, I would. That is zillion times.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You skip the first heat. That's great. The second heat's fantastic.
And you don't have to have the vet. I've got videos and other people do on YouTube about how to do the AI. You probably do it better than the vet can.
Look on James's videos. If I can breed a dog successfully, the very first time I ever did it, I got 6 females pregnant. Very proud of myself on that. That was like 4 customers, females, and our 2 females. They all got pregnant. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But James has videos on that, on how to breed your females.
While we're doing likes and we need a lot more subscribers. Hey, let's have some more likes. Come on, give us some thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Nacho
you see it on my dark shirt. Thumbs up.
I just came back from checking my pups from the whelper. They look amazing, but by price seems to be high. But I feel it's true for the quality of my work. I think what you're saying here is you're paying a lot of money for having somebody whelp your dogs. Is that what she's saying?
I don't know.
That's
you
an
have
interesting
my
conversation.
phone. That's why I would love to have my phone, and you have your own.
Just
phone.
remember where you are, so we're there is where we are.
Yeah.
We're going all the way down.
You didn't remember.
So let's just talk a little bit about what do you think you should pay to have somebody whelp your dogs? And I can tell you that this one's all over the place. And I think what you absolutely want is you want somebody who's whelped dogs before. You do not want somebody who says, "Oh, I'll whelp your dogs for you," and they don't know anything about it, because the amount of work you have to do can be very varied, right? I mean, if you've got a litter of got a big litter with some small puppies in there as well, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And somebody who dedicated to that process, maybe do some tube feeding and all that stuff, will make a huge difference as to what you end up with. If you have 10 puppies and they're French Bulldogs, someone's got some work on their hands. If you have a singleton, it's a lot less work. So I think that you should tie this into how many dogs you've got. And I would also tie this into this, that they get more money if the dogs survive and less if dogs start dying. Not they don't get $0, but my point here is you've got to give them incentive to do a good job. So exactly what's that going to cost you? I mean, tell me, what would you want to get paid?
Gosh, I don't know. You always ask me that, and I don't have a clue.
Yeah, well, I've thought about this before, because we whelp our own dogs, or our daughter helps us whelp our dogs.
When we had
Lee
whelping, we did 30%.
Yeah, so he got 30% of the litter value for doing that. That's a rather different setup.
Yeah.
So I don't think most people would do that.
Yeah.
That's pretty expensive.
But what you could do to save some money, let them whelp them through till when the puppies are weaned. Once the puppies are weaned, bring them back to your home if you can do this. And then that'll save you some money from the whelper.
Well, so one of the things that we found...
But always do a contract.
Yes, one of the problems that we found, for instance, when we were doing whelping with other people who were far away, it was difficult to get good photographs. And at the back end of this, when you're trying to advertise puppies, they're 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks old. The quality of the pictures and how often we got them was pretty crappy.
That's the key to selling is photographs. You know, do videos, take the pictures from the videos, use the videos. What I'm saying is you can catch pictures off your videos to use those. But early, start taking videos every week or every 2 to 3 days and get them.
So the other part about it is you've got somebody who's whelping for you, and somebody, a potential buyer, wants to FaceTime and see those puppies. You are not going to get the same level of showing off your dogs from a whelper that you're going to give. I mean, the environment may be crappy. There may be other dogs barking in the background. The dogs may not be cleaned up properly. There may be poo everywhere. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you don't have control over.
Pay attention to the background.
You need to think about it. I can tell you something else I'd do. If I was going to have somebody whelp for me, I would absolutely be invested in our whelping system and make them use it, because it'll make their job a lot easier, and it'll make the dogs probably less likely to start having problems like Giardia and Coccidia. And our poop tray, I would make sure they have our poop trays too. Sounds like I'm trying to advertise our product, and I am, but it works.
But it works.
It works, right.
Yeah.
But, you know, so what do you think it's going to cost you to look after those? I mean, I think that realistically, if somebody's got a decent sized litter they're looking after, they're going to spend about 5 hours of their time every day doing this. And so that's got to be worth at least $100 a day. And that means it's going to be something in the order of, by the time you've got food and everything else, it might be $1,000 a week. And I think that those are kind of, you know, throw out numbers there to start with. What do you think?
I'm not saying.
Okay. I mean, where are we up to? So we rattled on about that for quite some time.
Did we get some more thumbs up?
That's a good point.
Come on.
A few. Could do with more, though.
Yeah.
Only half of you get thumbs up. Let's have a look here. Brandon Wiggins, how often would you feed puppy moose puppies that are at day 28? So they're 4 weeks old. Tell us how you do about, because you do this, you know what you're doing. What point do you introduce them to mush? What kind of mush do you use? How often do you feed them? What do you are the
you do it bi-weekly, I would say, from a liquid gravy 1 week to a thicker gravy. Well, if he's done it at 4 weeks, what would that make it, James?
Well, that's what he's asking.
5 weeks, to a thicker consistency. And then you can go on to doing the kibble and having it real wet, but not mushed up anymore. Once they get teeth, and they get teeth at 3 weeks, but then when they're 4 weeks, do the gravy so they can get used to it. Do the gravy thicker, let's say 3 to 5 days, if you don't want to do a week. And then every 3 to 5 days, change it up. And then start going to the real soft kibble. By the time they're 6, 7 weeks, that kibble literally squish out liquid. That's how moist I want that kibble bite to be. And then you can start at 7 weeks doing it a little harder, not as soft. And then at 8.
So how do you get that done? How do you make it softer and not as soft?
Hot water.
Hot water, right?
But when you're doing it 4 weeks, do it with goat's milk, but add the hot water first. And then as you're mashing it up to make it gravy consistency, that's where you put the goat's milk in there, warm goat's milk in there, and get it runnier. Right.
So things to watch out for here is mum's mastitis. If she's being taken away from the puppies, make sure she's getting drained. You may have to let them nurse on her at night for the first week. Number 2 would be small puppies may not go to this very well and maybe start to starve and lose weight and get in trouble. So watch out for the smaller puppies. But basically what Tammy's saying is start off with very mushy, slurry type mix. It could be, you could go buy Royal Canin Puppy Mousse, comes in a can.
But you still have to make it thin if you're just starting them out on it.
Yes.
Because they're going to learn to lick it. Yes. And then they're going to learn to go into chewing it.
And by the time they're 8 weeks old, they should basically be on dry food about that time, right? Yeah. And our puppy potty tray makes a huge, huge difference to this. Because you will have, but the moment they start eating mush and not mum's milk,
Mom sometimes just refuses to clean them.
It stinks. They don't like it.
Yeah.
They stop eating it. They stop picking it up. And so
Very rarely do you have a female that will go and clean up behind them. Still,
if you have 8 puppies and she's got to do that, she'll be sick. I mean, it's not good for her. Our puppy poop tray makes a huge difference in this. I mean, it makes a big difference in this.
Well, the other thing too is they see mama cleaning it up. They think that's what they're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Then they're going to be
response.
eating it
Absolutely.
to clean it up.
And then you've got coccidioidia, and you've got a poo nightmare all over the place. And you've got it's just.
That's why that poop tray works, because they poop in it. It falls down into the tray. They can't eat it.
Alina Ramsey fostering a litter of inbred puppies. I think a mother-son breeding. One puppy is struggling, and he also crawls on his pastures with foot bent underneath. Have you seen this? Yes. But not because of inbreeding, because we don't do that. But they don't think that this is necessary. I can tell you this. You can fix this. And there's only one way that you can fix this. And I mean, I don't mean by saying don't breed to that dog again. There's a one way you can fix this puppy right now. If you catch it early, taping up the feet. And what you do is, and I've got a video you can find.
She said which feet were going under?
Probably the back ones, I was guessing. That's normally what you see. But either way, what you do is, if his feet are facing backwards, you take some tape and you rotate his feet slowly forward over a course of about 3 days. And it fixes it. I mean, I've seen vets say, put that dog down because they're born that way. And they are completely normal a week later. We have.
Remember when there was a pup born that its foot was really almost backwards, just one foot.
Yes.
And we took it and turned it and taped it up. And left that on there, and that foot corrected itself, and that dog walked perfectly fine after.
Completely normal.
When it started walking.
It was painless for the dog. It was, and it totally didn't cost us anything.
Apparently, the way it was laying in the mama's womb.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
But these things are absolutely flexible. Their bones are very flexible and malleable for the first 10 days of their life. Get on this right away. Don't hang around.
Yeah.
And look, now you can even fashion a prosthetic out of a piece of coat hanger that's bent the right way and taped up their leg. There's things that you can do to make this right. So just get on it. You know, I
wouldn't want to do a coat hanger. I'm afraid it'd stick it.
Well, no, there's ways to do this. Again, look at my video. Look at our videos. Okay. I got videos on this. The point here is, if the vet says put the dog down, don't.
Yeah.
You'll probably get this sorted out.
Their bones are soft enough that you can correct that.
Yep. Jesse James has got here early. He normally is late. He's here. Okay. Stacey Wills, will you tell us about the play gym you made for Billy? Excited to see it and be available in the future. I'll go get one.
You want to go get it, or you want me to get it?
Yeah, sure. You'll get.
You go get it. And you answer the question.
So we've got it for yourself. The answer to this. I haven't put them on the website yet, and it's mostly because I'm still working out, the boxing up and that kind of stuff. And then, but I think honestly, since you were asked about it, my gosh, we're going to show off. So Billy, who is with, and I don't think that. Let's see if Billy's mum is with us yet. She had surgery, and so I think she's recovering from surgery. Ariel. But Ariel has Billy, and Billy was our singleton puppy that was by himself for a long, long time.
Well, he was a singleton pup.
And he was a great tester for this, because, I mean...
Now, this is the small one. Where's the big one?
Go get one of the other pipes from underneath the TV.
Okay. Is it under the TV?
Yeah, yes, underneath the TV. So this is the smaller one. Now, this thing disconnects. You can see it just made a PVC pipe. It disconnects. And then you can get one that has a second piece that makes it twice as long. That makes it 3 foot long with eight hanging things on it. And you get rubber balls, and you get
These
ropes
are all the
on
same
it.
size.
It all comes assembled. It's all made out of. So I've learned quite a bit about this. So the things that I've learned about the ones that I've been looking at that I don't like is most of them made out of parachute cord. I can tell you this. I made my first one out of parachute cord. Get shredded pretty quick. It's just not tough enough. The second thing is all of this is heat fused. All of these connections are heat fused together, so they can't be pulled apart. Next thing is you'll see lots of them that have wire ties, plastic wire ties to hold this onto the top bar. They break. Now you've got broken wire ties the puppies could eat. Not good at all. This is an actual half-inch eyelet screwed into this. It's not coming off. So this thing here is pretty much indestructible. if Tammy brings me the other piece, you'll see the one that actually Billy's been working on.
I had to find it.
Where, okay, well, that's fun. Okay, well, here we
the
go.
connector one.
Here you go. So what you do is you can buy it like this. I can step back, and now you've got something that is.
Let me tell
3 foot
you,
long.
he wore himself out. We would be watching TV, and we could hear him going, and he was running circles and grabbing it, just shaking the tar out of it, and then running in circles again, and then take one and shake it and pull on it. He never once turned it over.
So you can see how the whole thing
had a
collapses.
blast
All of it
with
comes
that.
apart, which
Yeah.
means we can ship it to you without it being as stupid prices for shipping. What's the price on this? I think I'm going to have the one with a single bar on it is going to be 75, and the one with a double bar on it is going to be 100. And the shipping is not going to be that much. So the double bar one, if you buy two together, it's 100. If you buy the single bar, it's 75. Mm-hmm. And it comes fully. The only thing you got to do is plug it all together. All of this is done for you.
Yeah.
Now, there's nothing. And again, we've made sure there's nothing. These aren't hard plastic that'll break. They can't break. Well, I say they can't break that. That's. I mean, it's Billy couldn't
rubber.
get it. No. Billy couldn't get it done.
Yeah, if Billy couldn't get it done, no dog can get it done.
I think that's about
puppy.
Right. Well, I mean, it took some time and effort to get this right. I can tell you that.
Oh, he tried. He just really just. He would shake these so that it'd come back and hit him in his head and his face.
All the ones that will be sold all have double propylene on them, not a single. They all have doubles. They're all heat sealed together, so that this thing cannot come undone. Yeah. And then you get two on each bar. You get 2 rubbers and 2 ropes. So there we go. Anyway, so enough of that. So somebody asked. Now there'll be more information on the website.
Yep.
Okay.
We have that.
Let's have a look here. Let's go. That was the play gym.
That's the play gym.
Yes.
The jungle gym.
Charles Martin, what are your thoughts on freezing semen for 20 years, then reintroducing the line? Well, so there's, if you're going to freeze semen, there's quite a bit to it. Frozen semen has to be used with a surgical AI immediately that it's unfrozen. You have to have a nitrogen tank. You're probably going to have somebody else store it for you, especially if you're looking to do things for 20 years. So I do have a nitrogen tank, but I'm not an expert in this, but there's quite a bit to it. And so, the reason for storing semen would be one of 2 reasons. You want to ship it over to places like Australia, you have to use what's called a vapor tank, and you have to freeze it. You can actually do it with our chilled system, but nobody knows about it to get it done. Or you want to archive a dog that will no longer be around, that maybe is a grand champion or whatever, is a very special dog, and you want to keep that line available down the road. Yes, freeze it. So, but you're going to have somebody reputable to do this, because the vapor tank, the nitrogen tank has got to be checked and topped up on a regular basis. Typically you've got vets who do this for cattle. They may be the kind of people who can do this for you. Virtual Creation Corp's with us. Good. Nacho Line says, any idea why my dog didn't have little to no milk in the first litter? Maybe due to low protein nutrients. I don't think so. I mean, I think that what's going on here is, number one, you can see this happen in young dogs on their first litter. The milk's not as good. And then what do you do about this? Well, certainly a high calorific, high protein diet is helpful. And then there's some other things that are helpful too. And specifically, fenugreek seed is something that's natural. It can be used. It can help bring milk in. We use that on humans. And the very act of the puppy's nursing also brings the milk in. So if it doesn't, guess what? You either have a surrogate mother, or you can have tube feed, or at least bottle feed.
And you're not going to find that tube feeder at the vet's office.
King Tattoos, I separated my pups. It's 6 weeks. Pups are still fighting, lol. Go get our puppy gym. That'll help. Because they're rather than fighting each other, they're playing around with the puppy gym. And I think that's a good thing.
And we do have that tube feeder in our puppy care kit that we sell on My Breeder Supply.
Min Seconds, do you guys offer a discount on multiple studs uses from your guys? Well, we do this. Anytime you use any of our studs, every female that you produce will, for the life of that dog, get half-price breedings to any of our studs. So that is a huge discount. So, you have a litter of 6 puppies. You have 3 girls. You keep one of those girls. You come back to us with that girl. She gets half-price breedings. You sell that or give that or adopt that. Somebody else adopts that dog. They can take advantage of that too. That makes those dogs more, people are more interested in having your dogs because we've got some really nice lines and they can cash in on those lines at a half price. James Duncan, I've been watching your progesterone videos and you offer the Fine Care 1 phone in your videos. You refer to 5 as ovulation and 15 breeding. No, that's for an IDEX machine. Yes, looking at the Fine Care chart, it shows ovulation of 6 to 10. Correct. I think ovulation on a Fine Care is probably something around an 8 to a 10. What you'll see is numbers will go up rapidly when it ovulates. For me in a Fine Care, if I was going to do a single breeding, it'd be in the low 20s. So it's about 30% higher than the IDEX machine. But there is a chart that comes with every time you buy test kits. You can go get the corresponding chart on their site to tell you what the numbers are for that test kit. They don't vary very much. But basically, breed at about a 20, do an SI at probably close to a 30. Life is Siberian Husky says, hi. My four Huskies say woo woo. Natural
Woo
Line
woo
says,
back at you.
yep. And Natural Line says, no, I'm selling my pups for 10K. People don't want to pay it. Sure. Well, you know, I've got a whole course on this at breeder101.com, marketing and selling puppies, about how you go about this. Look, here's the deal. This is Tammy and me. Tammy, do you want to be the lowest price Frenchie?
No.
No. And why don't you want to be the lowest price Frenchie? This is difficult. This is a hard one to answer. But why do you want to be?
Because if they're loaded with DNA, that you know that if you're doing the full rights to, that it's hard to let it go at that price. Because you worked hard getting that done, right. And you worked hard getting those puppies to live and thrive, and you know you just have pride.
And you may have paid a lot of money for a stud fee.
You've got pride in what you raised, and you know, their bloodline may be out the wazoo too with the parentage.
Yes. So what I would consider us to be would be boutique breeders. We don't breed very many dogs. We don't have very many females. We are certainly a long ways from a puppy mill.
Well, in combination with everybody in our family-owned business, between Cody, Cherub, Chanel, and us, we do have.
Yeah, there's a few litters a year.
Yeah,
right, yes.
Yeah.
Though Chanel's getting out of it pretty much. So she's in there.
Well, she's busy with the new baby.
Well, that's right. But here's the point. Look, our puppies, they don't leave till they're 10 weeks old or older. They are fully socialized. They are playing with each other. They're not stuck up in pens.
No.
They are potty trained. And I say
they're loved on 24/7.
Yeah. They are a different animal than a lot of us. And that takes time and money. And we have really great lines that took a lot of time to develop because of that.
And we've got a couple of close friends that have some females of ours that are raising them as well.
But we're like Nacho, we're not selling. And that we do sell dogs that are less than $10,000, but only occasionally. And that's because they didn't get all the DNA we'd have liked, or because they don't have the structure we had in some of the other dogs. But typically our dogs sell for that 10K plus mark. And yours can too, but you've got to have the great pedigrees. You've got to get these dogs properly socialized, and you've got to market them
properly. You're able to hold them for a little bit longer, because they do eventually sell. But of course, usually it's at a lower price. But
yes,
I mean, that's part of business.
King Tattoo, what time do you give shots? You're right on that one, Tammy.
Okay, on puppies, you do at 6 weeks. You do it 3 weeks apart. If you started at 6 weeks, you need to do it 3 weeks after that, which would be 9 weeks, and then 12 weeks, and then 15 weeks. And did I say that right? 6, 9, 12, and then 15 weeks.
Right.
And at 15 weeks, you can get rabies shots also. And you can do the other shots at home, but the rabies shots you need to do at the vets. Now, there's some people that like to do shots at 7 weeks. Just whenever you give a shot, make sure it's 3 weeks. If you run into 4 weeks, it's okay. Do not go before 3 weeks, and do not go after 4 weeks.
Otherwise, start again.
Or you have to start all over again.
Gentle Giant says, here in New York, people charge between $500 and $700 a week to whelp. Okay, for a minimum of 4 weeks. Yep.
Oh,
so
sounds
about right. Colleen says, if you're breeding a dog for the first time, 2 years old, what are the chances of pregnancy taking the first encounter? Very, very good. I think 85%. If you get it right, you get your progesterone level right, you've got good semen, you do the right technique, 85%.
If it's a first-time female, sometimes you miss it.
Jesse James, how long is semen good for after collecting in a car? Depends on what kind of a car it is. If it's a Ferrari, much better.
If it's in the back of a van, it's probably 24 hours.
Oh, it's one time I collected semen in the back of
At the airport.
At the airport, and I was just waiting.
It's a wonder they weren't
I was waiting
hauled off by the security guards.
I was waiting for the doors to open up and Channel 9 to be there with me and another guy looking like a couple of perverts collecting a dog. Well, look.
You have that look about you, James.
Yeah. I think what you're asking here, I think this is what you're asking. I think you're asking is, if you've collected semen, how long can you keep that semen alive for? And the answer is, it depends on how you treat the semen.
Mm-hmm.
If you just collected semen and you're going to go put it into another dog, an hour, just out there in the open, not doing anything special to it, you've probably got an hour to get it done before the semen starts getting trouble. If you add extender to it and you chill it slowly down to something close to freezing, then you can be up to 10 days. It's certainly not as good after 10 days as it was the day it was pulled out of the dog. But
what if they just collected it and put it in the little bag and carried it somewhere?
I think an hour. I don't think very long.
Depends on heat and what the weather's doing.
That's exactly right.
Because if it's real hot outside.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, I mean, inside the female, it's probably good for 24 hours or longer inside the female. Some people say 2 days. But, I think some people say maybe 5 days. I think they're a bit hopeful.
Well, that's how come some people breed every other day.
Yes.
On your larger dogs.
Yes.
And
well, any dogs, but yes,
yeah,
right, exactly. So, how long did it survive? I can tell you it doesn't last for days. I know that for a fact. I can tell you this, I've done lots of testing of different extenders, and some of the extenders like Kenny's Dr. Kenny's milk extender, which I think completely sucks. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not good for but a few hours. Mm-hmm. So I know that without that extender, it'll probably be even less than that. So you need to get that don't collect from the dog until it's ready to be put in the female. If you've got to go travel 2 hours to put this in the female, I'd have taken the dog with me and pulled from the dog right there and then and got it in the female as soon as I possibly could. Otherwise, go get you shipping containers and extender and get it done right. Mm-hmm. Hello from Australia, from Forget Me Not French. It's good to have you on here. I think we see you quite a bit. Stacey Willis says, I don't think half the profit of litter are the breeding expenses is unacceptable, especially for a whelper that keeps litter until they go to new homes and helps to market and so. Well, I mean, look here, Stacey. Look, if you're producing $2,000 dogs and you've got 4 dogs or 3 dogs and it's going to generate $6,000 and they're going to look after those dogs for 4 weeks and charge you $1,000 a week, you're in trouble. Yeah. You're not making any money on it, right?
Right.
If you're producing if you have a litter of 7 dogs and they're $30,000 a piece, it's a hugely different deal. So I don't think that you've got to. If you're producing expensive dogs, it obviously takes. It's obviously you can afford to spend more money on a whelping and have a really good whelper because you don't want to lose those dogs, right? But again, any time that you can shave costs, make sure that you're not shaving costs in a place that's going to cause you problems. A good whelper is a hell of a lot more important than a shitty one. Shitty whelpers will let your dogs die. A good whelper will take care of problems and really work hard to have you. I mean, look at Pixie. We whelped our own litter, right? Pixie. Would Pixie have made it with a regular whelper?
No.
They wouldn't spend the time on it. There's just no way. They would not.
James was up every 2 hours with that little
they wouldn't
girl.
spend time, and I wouldn't have necessarily expected them to. I just, if that situation, I'd have said to the whelper, "Bring me that dog. I'll look after it." So it all depends on the circumstances of what the value of your dogs are, as to whether or not how much of the money you should get. But here's the reality of this: does it take any more effort if you've got 5 dogs and they're $1,000 dogs versus $15,000 dogs? Does it take any more effort to raise that litter? And the answer is no. It's exactly the same. The C-section costs were the same, the food costs were the same, and the whelper costs were the same. But you might pay more money for a really good whelper if you've got $15,000 dogs, because you do not want to lose any of those dogs. It's obviously financially a lot more of a sacrifice to lose a $15,000 dog than a $1,000 dog. I don't mean that you should be lackadaisical about this and accept the fact that one can lose puppies. People should work hard to not lose puppies. But obviously, the financial results are rather different in those two situations. So, some of this depends on what kind of dogs you're raising and what kind of prices you expect to get from those dogs as to whether or not, paying $1,000 a week for a whelper is a significant part of this or not.
Answered cheeks and chongs right there.
Thank you for replying to my comment. Yes, we are doing AIs ourselves. I just don't want to breed. And they say, why do we breed second heat? Because it will need to schedule C-section. Well, I mean, look, so what we're talking about, this is the person who the vet says, I don't breed dogs on their second heat, i.e. they breed later. And so now what Cheech and Chong are saying is maybe that vet will not go do a C-section. F that vet.
Find you a different vet.
Find a different vet. The vet's working for you. The vet can refuse service.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if a vet's going to receive... Look, if I went into a restaurant...
That vet's not the only vet. You need to go find a new one.
If you and me went into a restaurant and they refused to service, would we go back to that restaurant?
No.
No, we would not go back to that restaurant. We wouldn't go back to that restaurant. I mean, you know, if you go into the restaurant wearing flip-flops and no shirt and it says on the door that that's not... Then, okay, fair enough. We wouldn't have walked in there in the first place. So some of these vets don't like the idea that you're breeding dogs and they want to hold back service based on that. So find a different vet. Because you're not going to convince the vet. The vet's already told you the way they feel about this. Find a different vet. As simple as that.
Mm-hmm. The question before that one.
Just not collecting in the car. I understood that. Driving an hour with it, would it be okay? Yeah, probably. You're on the borderline though. But yes, probably.
Did you
okay.
answer that one right there?
Question. This is forget me not French's question. My vet measures IDEX in nanomoles. Yes. So nanomoles. You're probably in Europe. Nanomoles are 3.8 times as high as nanograms. So where we do 50 nanograms here in America, which would be ovulation on IDEX, it's 3.8 times that number. So you're pushing 60. Right. So 19 nanomoles fresh eye done on the 14th. Would you think this is too late? No, it's too early. Not early enough. 19 is really a quarter of that amount. That's more like you're doing it at 3. The dog's not even ovulated at 19. No, you're these 3 or 4 days early. No, absolutely not. Nope. And I mean, I don't know why your vet's saying that because you know something's wrong here. Someone's giving you bad information, and it's not me. It's okay.
Are the numbers wrong then?
No, but your point here is if you're in Europe or Australia, and you read in nanomoles, divide that number, divide that number by 3.8, and that's what it is in milliliters, in nanograms. That's the point here.
I like how Mama Bear Chihuahua collects her semen and puts it in her bra to keep it at a good temp.
Yeah.
If she's just going down an hour down the road. You do what you need to do.
Yeah. Take Natural Line's advice. He always gives good stuff. He says, hit the like button. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Got to hit that like button. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Natural Line says 1 hour should be good. Just get there safe and as soon as you can. And also, keep it warm, and that'll help too. You don't want to get super cold. What you don't want to happen to semen is 2 things. You don't want to get cold rapidly, and you don't want to get hot to much above probably 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees centigrade. Those are the 2 things. So absolutely, what I do in the wintertime is if I've got to go walk from one place to another, for instance, we don't allow visiting females to get nose-to-nose with our dogs. So we'll go collect in one area. And if it's in wintertime, when I'm transporting that semen to take it up to breed a dog that might be a couple hundred yards away, I put my hand around it and I keep it warm, keep the whole tube warm to make sure that it doesn't get too cold. Too cold too fast. That's cold shock. They don't want cold shock.
What kind of dog food do you use to introduce mush? Well, we sell, here comes a sales plug. We sell Life Abundance puppy, small breed, and large breed. So whichever breed that your puppies are, we sell that, and that's what we use for. We used to use, what was the name of it? In the mush.
We use, in a can?
Royal Canine
in a can.
has a
It's good
mush
stuff.
that you
It's
could
expensive though.
use. It's way expensive. But the kibble you can soften up yourself with hot water,
so
and then add goat's milk.
But you moved to Life's Abundance because you were feeding Life's Abundance to the big dogs.
Yes, and I used to feed with.
Well, let me keep on going here.
Okay.
So what Tammy's argument was look, if we feed them one product from one brand when they're puppies, and then when they're going to kibble, we put them to a different brand. Why are we doing that?
Yeah, they've got sensitive tummies anyway. So
we believe in this product. Give it to them the entire time.
Right.
Just mush it up. So it's a high protein puppy food, and it's life's abundance, and that's what we use.
Mhm.
And so we use the same thing because we don't want to introduce
Oh,
a different
gosh.
kind of kibble and cause them tummy upsets.
How many years? What, 7, 8 years that I've been on this now?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
like life abundance.
Life
It's not,
Abundance, great.
not cheap, not crazy expensive. It's not
No,
cheap.
there's
It's good.
more expensive stuff out there.
There is.
This, I've been on it for 7, 8 years, and I've been happy with it ever since.
And they deliver.
Yes.
So you can get onto
and
My Pups supply.
their shipping cost is way cheaper.
Yeah, I mean, I'll buy that exactly. But either
I
way,
do.
well,
I see it.
I mean,
Okay, next
all
question.
in all, you're going to spend about $6 back. Right. Okay. So the person with the feet was the front feet, and they're 2 days old. Start taping up.
Mhm.
Go look at my video about taping feet up, or
At 2 days old.
feet. I think yes, feet pointed back. I put a video on there here about 6 months ago that I talked to some people. Remember that? I talked to some people, and those puppies were completely knuckly. They were complete like this. They were in serious trouble.
Okay.
And they were in an
You're
RV.
talking.
And we're in an RV, and I talked to them about what to do. And we talked about this. I said, make a prosthetic out of some bent clothes hanger and tape that up on their feet and fixed it. And there's a video that shows that. And they went from walking around, hardly be able to walk on their knuckles, to being completely normal dogs. They weren't Frenchies. I forget what they were now, but I got a video on that. It is in the last 6 months.
Benny
Last
Hood
year.
says, hello, all.
Hey, Benny's with us.
Yeah.
Hey, Benny.
Yeah. And Nacho Lion said should be same kibble you are feeding mom dog. Exactly. Because mama dog's eating the puppy food.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, even on the Biljack that we feed mama dog,
Let me just read it.
she is, the puppies are licking it at 3 weeks old. Once you see that, you know they're pretty well almost ready to be eating their own dog food. But we put mama back on to Life Abundance puppy at 4 weeks.
We've got to start running through these.
feeding
So if I missed the deworm at 2 weeks, can I start at 3 weeks? Yeah, start immediately. If you missed it, there's nothing set in stone here.
Is it Nemex 2 every 2 weeks at 2 and 4 weeks, and then Safeguard at 6, 8, 10, 12, until the puppies leave. And make sure you do it every 2 weeks. But on the Safeguard, you need to do it 3 days in a row every 2 weeks.
If I miss my 2 weeks, I do it at 3 weeks. I do it again at 4 weeks. That's what I do. I don't think it's going to be a problem.
No.
When do you deworm pregnant dogs? With Safeguard, 10 days before for 3 days and 7 days after whelp. So either side of whelp, basically a week either side of whelp for 3 days for Safeguard.
Make sure you do that.
So Sharon Nick says, oh, that's brilliant. I have a singleton that worries she's not getting. That thing is not just for singletons. I mean, I think that, one of the things that you see on dogs is that we have this problem. You've got a litter of 6 or 7 puppies.
And they're fussing and fighting with each other,
Yep.
pulling each other. They're picking on one puppy.
Yep.
There'll
Small
be 4
puppy.
dogs holding down one puppy.
Yep.
If they have this little jungle gym thing, or we call it Billy Proof Gym, they're being entertained.
Yes.
Their mind's off of getting each other and attacking each other.
And
they're playing with
if
those
a little
toys.
puppy's playing with one of the toys and a big puppy comes up there, that puppy can just move off to another toy and get that puppy off its back, and that puppy's then playing with that toy. I mean, it makes a big difference. They're not beating up.
Oh my gosh, because there's times that we can't even sit down and watch a movie because the puppies are screaming and hollering because they're beating up on one of them. So that little jungle gym really helps on entertaining other puppies.
Mothers that are producing a little milk is convenient to feed mum milk and formula. Well, I mean, certainly a high calcium diet helps. So the fenugreek seed and some more calcium in their diet. Just don't overdo the calcium. Tips on promoting puppies for rehoming. Well, I mean, we've got videos on this, and I don't think we can go into this here because it's not time. But I think that the big thing that you want to have in your puppies is you want to have good, solid poo. Our puppy poop tray helps with that. You want them going to one place to go poo. Our potty tray helps with that. And you want them to be socialized and understand what it is to play with other puppies. So healthy puppies that have been, health checked and have solid poo and know where to go to poo and will play with other dogs. That's what you want. Somebody did ask earlier on, I went by, what do you suggest for coccidia? And the answer is Albon is what you treat that with. But you can pre-treat before it ever shows up with Trotzil. And we pre-treat at 2 weeks with Trotzil.
When do you introduce that to them?
2 weeks.
2 weeks old?
Yep. Zyron Williams, can you use your incubator 24/7? Absolutely. You don't need to go spend $1,500 on a pet brooder. Ours, I think, is a better product, and it's not just for moving puppies around. This is an interesting thing my sister Sally said the other day. She said, one thing you're not telling people about the incubators is this. People go buy a pet brooder. They spent $1,500 on it, right? What are they going to do if they're going to take those puppies to the vet? They can't take the pet brooder to the vet. It plugs in 110 volts. What are they going to do? The answer is we have, I believe, the only incubator.
That's a traveling incubator that you can actually plug into your car from your home, and it's pennies to run it. So you can leave it plugged in for a month.
Yes.
And
then the other part of this is that people, because we put the words portable incubator, they think it's only to be used in the car. No, it's an incubator. It just happens to be portable as well as being an incubator.
And how many Frenchie babies can you set in that?
10 newborns.
Yeah.
That's squished.
Now we have the large one for the bigger dogs or baby goats or, and it's the same thing. But that smaller one will fit 10 little brand new Frenchie babies in that. So when the vet sees that, they're real happy with that. They love it.
They do. Natural Line says, I used it until the puppy didn't fit in the incubator. So the answer to that one is there's two things. First one is there's the bigger one. You can always have the bigger one as well as the small one. Why would you have the small one versus the big one? Because the smaller one's easier to get through doorways, so you can hold it with a single handle. But we don't put puppies in the incubators all the time. We leave them with mum. The Natural Lines probably do it different than we do it. We only use incubators traveling to and from the vet, and for puppies that are sick and need to be separated from mum and the other puppies.
And when they're with mom, they're on that heated whelping system that we sell as
well.
So
shout out to Vintage Doberman Frenches. Hello from Atlanta. Super excited. 2 weeks in after AIing with Mando. Mando is our full, fluffy, loyal, beautiful boy.
He's gorgeous.
He is gorgeous.
Low to the ground, small ears, flat face, nice square body, just good looking little thick boy. He's beautiful. His coat is amazing, and his personality is a plus.
Jesse asks, our girl, day 4 progesterone was 1.25. That's completely normal. Day 9 was 7.48. That, by the way, is pretty normal. That's ovulation or day after ovulation on day 9. That's quite normal. Day 10, day 10 to 33.9. So what happens here is once a dog is ovulated, the numbers typically go up about 70% a day. They really start to climb. That's how you can tell when ovulation comes, because this graph takes this rapid climb. So what you'd expect for most dogs, 5 is ovulation. The next day is 8. The day after that, it's a 15. The day after that is 22. You can see this thing. The day after that, it's a 35. You can get to a 35 pretty damn quickly. So that's not abnormal. It's quite normal. And if you bred on, you'd probably be fine. If you bred her the day after 7.48, my guess is you'll be absolutely fine. Although her numbers seem to be very high, I bet you'll be fine. James Duncan says we ended up getting our own machine so we could monitor better. I recommend a machine. Will Doyle, do you ever have coccidia outbreaks, and how do you treat them if you do? So the answer on this is we never see it in our adults. In the past, we did see it with our puppies. And once you've had coccidia, it seems like you will see coccidia again. What we do these days is
and it's very treatable.
We pre-treat mum.
And if you don't treat it, you will run into problems.
Yeah, we pre-treat mum a week before and after whelp with fenderbendazole or goat wormer, safeguard. We pre-treat with trotrazil at 2 weeks and 4 weeks. And any signs of any runny, mucousy, bloody poop,
smelling metallic,
we immediately test for Giardia with a snap test. And it's not that, we treat it for Albon. We treat it with Albon. And our puppy poop tray, I keep on saying this, but the puppy poop tray stops puppies from smearing poop and eating poop and tracking poop all over the place. Makes a huge difference to getting these intestinal parasites to really get your dog sick.
And you can always, if you don't have the snap test that we sell on My Breeder Supply, you can always put it in a little baggie, like a Ziploc bag, take it to the vet, put the name of the puppy on there and the mama that, that had it, and take it to the vet and ask them to check that for you to see what's wrong, that your puppy's got runny mess and there might be a little bit of blood to it or it has this metallic-y smell. But they should be able to test that for you. That way you're not paying a vet bill for
Yes.
the puppy going in to see the vet. And then they can call you and tell you what you need and just go pick it up.
Forget-me-not Frenchies. This is the Australian people who had the nanomole reading. They said, so did a big increase, 1.5, then 13.3, then 19, did the AI 3 days later. So the problem with this is a 19 of nanomoles is more like a 5. So that is close to ovulation. And you bred 2-3 days later, you're probably okay. But what you didn't do is you didn't do another progesterone test to confirm what the numbers really are. So you're a bit blind on this. Probably okay. 80% of the time you'll be okay. 20% of the time you did it wrong and the numbers went backwards and you didn't know it.
And when you're doing these numbers, write it down on your calendar on what day that was.
Good idea.
And then you know when you do AI, then you know 2 months later you're going to have babies.
And you got a record for next time.
Yes, and you got a record for the next time she comes
It's
in.
likely to be the same thing.
Okay.
Yes. What do you do if your dog's got mastitis? You're up on that one.
Warm washcloth, and to help squeeze that out. And if it's not a different color, I mean, like when the milk comes out, if it's not green or yellow, put a puppy on it. But if it's green or yellow, do not put a puppy on it. It's infected. You're going to have to work that out yourself until it comes out more of a white cream color. But a warm washcloth will help with that also. But yes, tend to that. Don't let it go bad, because we've had pictures sent to us on some people wanting to know what happened when it was laying there open after it burst, and that was just awful. It just makes me sick to my stomach. But take care of it immediately, and you'll feel it on the mama dog that their breasts are really, really hard and are getting hard, and you feel little lumps to it. So make sure you put puppies on it to help drain it. But do not put puppies on it if it's a yellow or green.
And amoxicillin is an antibiotic that's good to help treat this too. Forget-me-not.
And there's some people that say put cabbage leaves on it.
That's right. So Forget-me-not says she bred on day 15, did the AI. Well, from what you told me before, day 19, he bred 3 days later. I think he should have bred 2 days later. That would have been day 14. Most dogs get bred between day 11 and 13. So 15, I think, is on the back end of this, but without progesterone numbers, we don't know. A couple of things that are useful to know would be what her blood color was then. It should be pretty much completely gone. And then how much AI rod was able to get in her. It should be very open. But again, there's other things. I have a female that's due to shots and just started her cycle, plan to breed her. Should I hold off on the shots? I would hold off on shots in this situation. I would. Your vet might say otherwise. You know, can you get the shots?
She's due to come into heat?
No, she's in heat.
Oh, she is
I
in
mean,
heat.
if you got the shots done now and she's not going to be bred for another 2 weeks, you're probably fine. But, you know.
I don't know. Ask your vet about
Well,
even a
they're not
week.
going to know any more than we're going to know. Nobody's going to know.
Well,
nobody's going to know. Look, if you're in an environment where you really have a dog that's at risk of getting some problems, it's not vaccinated, you probably should vaccinate. If this is a house dog,
and it won't hurt to wait a few days.
Yeah.
Just make sure you wait till after the puppies are weaned and she's no longer feeding puppies to go have her shots.
Oh, I think you could probably get the shots done.
No.
Okay, well, that's fine.
No.
But it's
I've asked the vet that. He said no.
It's a lot more dangerous. The problem is if you give shots to when she's got
You'll lose
eggs,
the litter.
It'll abort the litter.
Mm-hmm.
After dogs have been bred, I wouldn't think you make a lick of difference. But Tammy says otherwise. So
yeah. Wait till you've had the puppies weaned.
And here's the
then
problem.
Go get shots. You just said bred.
Yeah.
No, he meant weaned.
Yes, right. Jersey Golden Reese says, I just want to thank you for your help. My female had 2 puppies because we did an AI a little late. 18.5 progesterone. Well, maybe not, but we have 2 beautiful puppies. Well, congratulations. Good. Can you go grab a poop tray? They're in the computer room. Can you grab this? Just someone's ask what they look like. Computer room. Yeah, you know where our big doors are, the big double doors, back there in the kitchen.
You're going, the kitchen's that way.
Yeah, in the kitchen. Good Lord, Lily's house.
James lives here. He doesn't know which direction
I'm going to show you a poop
is.
tray.
Imagine that.
Do you pre-treat for coccidiosis every week? No. 2 weeks and 4 weeks, twice. One is 2 weeks for one time, one at 4 weeks one time.
Oh, me.
Why is a 7-week-old puppy's having diarrhea? Going to order the parvo test from you all. Could this be parvo? Well, if you had parvo, you'd be in trouble really quickly. Dogs that with parvo, from my experience of this, they start vomiting, they start having projectile diarrhea, they might have their insides, their intestines pooching out their back end because they're trying to defecate so hard. They're drooling, they just look like hell, they don't want to do anything, they look like literally death warmed over. I doubt you have parvo. If you have parvo, you need to get on it ASAP and start treating it. Much more likely that they've got something like coccidia or giardia. You can test for these things by going to the vet for a fecal flotation. Look, Tammy's got these food trays. These are the food trays.
Yes, and it opens up like this. I should have went and got the pee pads. And you set your pee pads in here.
Or paper towels, or nothing.
Don't do paper towels.
No,
Pee pads are 100% better, I think.
Okay.
I know it's cheaper because that's what James is all about.
To close it up.
But anyway, so when you put the paper towels in here, make sure you tuck it in that none of the paper towels stick out up here or close to it. Because once a puppy pulls the pee pad from there, they're going to do it every time.
Yep, sorry.
And tear it up.
So I want to show you why this works. First thing is, it's not very thin. Puppies will get up. In fact, Billy would sleep on this thing.
Oh, I know.
He'd sleep on it. He literally would sleep
why.
on it. I think because it's ventilated and they liked it because it was cool. He'd sleep on it. But they can get up on it. Even little bitty puppies, even little chihuahuas can step up on this and it won't be a problem. The grating is close enough together their feet won't fall through. But because it's slot shaped, turds are square. Almost all the puppy potty trays you see have square holes or round holes. That the poop does not fall through them. With this, it will fall through. And so, you know,
it's easy to clean.
It's easy to clean.
Minutes.
They will use it. It's vinyl covered, so it's, you know, hygienic. It's pretty tough. It's got stainless steel hinges on it. And it shows the big one.
Okay, I'm afraid you're going to get that on the couch.
I won't. But right, I want to show them against each other.
That one end's fixing to hit the couch.
There you can see the bigger one, a lot bigger, right? We use the big one out in the playpen area. We use the medium-sized one inside the crate.
Fits perfect in the crates that we use when we're whelping puppies.
And then we have one that's half this size, and that's for puppies that are just singleton puppies or puppies that are going to their new homes. The prices, if you buy a medium and a large, it's $79. You get $10 off, $79. And with the shipping, FedEx, total bill is $96.
And we have so many people call back and say they did it within 30 minutes of putting it out.
Oh, I've got one person who said they had it in 5
minutes. When we went to the dog show, those puppies that were in it never used it. They did it immediately.
We went to the dog show, and some people that we were sharing a booth with had brought some puppies, and they had a puppy crate there to put the puppies in. And I said, well, let's put one of these poop trays in there. We put a poop tray in there, and the stupid puppies went and pooped and peed on it right away. It was incredible. I mean, that's what the only place they pooed and pooped on the tray. There wasn't an advert, that was. All right. We're getting on time here. We've got a few more questions. We can answer these really quickly. My girl has 6 confirmed, possibly 7 pups. Her progesterone level was 3.3 Thursday. She's 60 days post-ovulation. According to progesterone testing, her temp tonight is 98.2. You're having puppies tomorrow. You don't want to hang around with this. With you being 60, tomorrow 61 days, don't worry about the milk. Progesterone level 3.3. Go have puppies tomorrow. Watch her carefully tonight because she may have puppies tonight. But I can tell you, if it was me, I'd be getting a puppy C-section tomorrow for definite on that. No doubt about it. That's you've got all the classic signs. I bet you she's not eating food. She'll start nesting and panting tomorrow. But even if she's not, a dog with 98.2, progesterone level of 3.3, and tomorrow it's day 61. Go.
Hopefully you have feeding tubes. You have a heated whelping system. Hopefully you have a traveling incubator, puppy care kit. Hopefully you got all that done before.
So they said tomorrow is the first scheduled C-section date. Would you feel comfortable doing a C-section if below 2? Yes, but you've told me some other things. You've told me that her temperature that is the critical part for me, is the temperature is 98.2. Dogs that temperatures drop below 99.0
has she done nesting?
Have puppies within 24 hours. She hasn't
quit
said
eating
that.
Her food?
Well, they haven't told us that.
Oh, okay.
But what would be the single biggest thing?
The temperature drop.
Exactly right.
If you stuck the temperature thermometer all the way in.
You answer this one because we've got 3 more questions. What are the chances of a dog being pregnant if they tied up? You need to have one of those magic 8 balls, and you
Now,
throw
I'll
it on
look
the
at my
table. Look
crystal
at
ball.
yeah. I mean, it's a good chance, right? I mean, right.
50-50, would you
Better,
say?
probably better. Yeah.
60-40?
What are snap tests? What are they? And can you do them at home? A snap test is basically a little cartridge that you, for instance, for parvo test, you take some of their poop, you put it into a little vial that comes with the test. You mix it up with a little stick, take a little dropper, and put a couple of drops into the window of the cassette, and the snap test gives you the results in 5 minutes.
Yeah,
That's what a snap test is.
Well, also coccidia and giardia.
Yes, right. You've got a test for that
and
too.
pregnancy
And pregnancy,
tests,
yes.
too.
Snap test for all those things, yes.
So
James Duncan says, what is your worst part of breeding and your favorite? Thanks for the Q&A for both of you.
the worst part of breeding?
The worst part of breeding, I know what the worst part of breeding is. I got
what
two
do you
things.
think?
Well, I'll give you the worst.
Give us the answer.
Well, I'll give you the worst part of breeding. The worst part of breeding is when you have a disaster and you lose mum. That can happen.
Oh,
Shouldn't happen, but it can happen.
I thought, okay.
That can happen. That's the worst thing that can happen is you lose a
I
mum.
thought he was being funny asking.
The next thing
else.
is that you lose an entire litter. That does happen quite a bit, and that's completely avoidable. You do lose the entire litter. That is a tragedy. In most cases, you didn't do your due diligence. You haven't learned your
you didn't
your
pay
business
attention
properly.
on breeding dates and had no clue when they were going to be born. You were just guessing, and it's getting close to time, you think, and you go to the vet, and the vet says, I'm going to be out of town this weekend, so let's take them on Wednesday, and we'll have puppies.
Yeah, the next worst thing is you've got sick dogs.
And then those puppies don't have any hair on their face. They weren't ready to be born, and they die immediately that day or the next day.
Yep.
One by one.
The next one is that they get some really bad infection. They've got poo and mess all over the place, and you're battling that. And you've got sick puppies, and they don't look very good, and you're going through that hell. That's the next thing. Then the next one would be is you've got these premature puppies. You're trying to get them to survive. You're having to tube feed them every 3 hours and get up in the middle of the night and do that. Those are all the worst things. What's the best things about this? Seeing that litter for the first time with these fantastic colors that you produced, and knowing that this is a bonus litter.
Colors, structure.
Well, that too.
When I see a little short golf ball or a little potato laying there, I'm thinking, oh my gosh.
But don't you love the C-section when they come out?
I love to see the C-section when they come out.
I do too.
I love to see the conformation of those babies. And then it's the cherry on top when you see color.
And then their eyes open up and they start playing and interacting.
That's my eye appeal.
That's great. And I can tell you there's two more really important events.
It's very important.
Handing that puppy to somebody who comes to us to get a puppy and seeing the joy in their face, like when Billy was got by Ariel, that is a special moment. And getting handed over a wad of cash.
When Pixie.
That feels Pixie. That was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
That was so special.
That little girl was so precious.
So for us,
she's so pretty.
We don't have problems with
so sweet.
with mums dying. We don't have problems with puppies dying. I mean, touch wood, very seldom. And we have all the joy side of it. But there is work in it. And one of the other things that's not much fun is picking poop up. But if you have the potty tray, mum does it before that.
Who picks that up?
Well, the potty tray.
Who picks it up?
All right, how many people have we got signed? We've still got a lot of you watching, and you've done a pretty good job on subscriptions. But look, the last 12 of you, give us a thumbs up would be nice.
Yeah. Thumbs up, please. Pretty please, thumbs up.
So Nacho Line says, should do a PG test on day 7 of bleeding to see if she's near ovulation. I agree. So I think that, you can't expect to do a single progesterone test and get this right, because if you try that trick, you're probably going to miss them. You're probably going to do 2, probably 3 progesterone tests to get this right. So be prepared to spend that money. And if it's costing you $150 a pop, you're spending $450 on progesterone tests, you should probably buy a machine, because that's going to cost you $15 a test, and you'll do more of them, and you'll have more puppies because of it. James Duncan says, you nailed the answer. Well, I'm not sure if Tabby nailed the answer or I did, but we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't fun, would we?
No.
I mean, we don't have to do this.
I mean, we've been doing it for 24 years with Frenchies alone. Before that, we did with labs.
Yes.
I remember being a little girl and our little dachshund that we had named Hilda having puppies. That was just so exciting to me. And then when I had horses and those babies, oh my gosh. And then when you have your own babies and then your kids have their babies and your grandkid has a baby, everything with babies is fantastic. But with the French Bulldogs that we've been doing for 24 years, it's got to be a thing of love.
So
for sure.
Chanel-
a labor of love.
Chanel, who just had last 10 days ago her first human baby, who's been around puppies since she was 7 years old.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, before that,
Yeah.
but since you and me had been together.
Yeah, her and Jake both said it. We think of this as we give thanks to having puppies to teach us what to do with this baby.
Yeah, and
they're great.
She
parents.
has learned. She's got entrepreneurial spirit that I think
Yeah.
she got through the puppies.
Yeah.
She's learned how to look that other animals are important in your life and that you have to treat them properly, and that they can be a source of joy and also a source of income. So I think there's
because
been a lot
of raising puppies.
Yeah, because of raising puppies. So the other thing I didn't mention about this, but I think those are important things.
Yeah.
Now, what is not good is when somebody gets into this and doesn't realize the amount of work that's going to be involved, and then doesn't want to do it anymore, and so they kind of dump on the dog.
Yeah.
That's not good.
No. Or people that are doing it just for one reason of just throwing money out there, and it's like, no, it's not just that. It's something in the heart, for sure, in your soul.
I missed one here because Natural Line answered it. Sarah Gonzalez says, I have a female 44 days pregnant with a clear mucus discharge. Is that normal? Yeah, like Natural said, this is the mucus plug. It's there in the cervix to stop any bacteria getting in there. As she gets close to whelp, her cervix starts to dilate. That falls out. You'll see this snotty looking, kind of slightly yellowy looking mucousy stuff hanging off her back end. Probably only see it one time. Completely normal. You don't have to do anything about it. You don't try to put it back in place.
Well, you'll see it when they're going out to potty. You'll see it.
Yeah, right. Typically, yes. Completely normal. Not a concern at all. Almost certainly means the dog's successfully
Now, if
bred.
it's a bloody discharge and kind of a green, then you got problems.
Definitely.
You've got a puppy that detached itself.
But if you see a mucus plug that's a bit flecked with blood, don't get worried about that.
Yeah, no.
That's quite normal too.
No, but I'm talking about green.
Sarah Gonzalez says, thanks so much. First time here. We're very glad to have you. Amanda says, love you guys. Well, not a very knowledgeable couple. We try to be. James Duncan says, we love both you guys. Well, thank you very much. Yote6 says, you scared me so much when you told me I had 5 minutes before my dog would die. He called me up. This is probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. And he had something that was not a problem, but I knew it. But I told him, you've probably got about 5 minutes before that dog dies.
You have to take everything with a grain of salt.
He believed me. He believed me. And
he's awful.
And the light went silent. And that's why I said, no, Yote, it's fine. I'm messing with you. It's going to be
I tell him to quit doing that because people take him serious.
You got to have some fun with it.
Scared. No, it's not.
You don't joke around when it's serious. You can joke around when it's not serious. Anyway, look, we've consumed up almost an hour and a half of your time.
Really? Has it already gone by?
Well, an hour and 20 minutes. So we've gone a little long on this. But so
well, if we didn't love doing this and love visiting with our customers
and we
stuff,
get some new people every time, that's great too.
Yeah.
So and then we get the opportunity to plug some of our products. Our products are all things that we've designed and developed and use on a daily basis. We don't sell crap that doesn't work. If you look at places like Chewy, they're great. They sell 5 or 6 of the same thing, but they don't use them, right? But it doesn't mean that all the stuff that Chewy sells is rubbish. But I can tell you this: all the stuff that we sell on My Breeder Supply is stuff that it's there because we have either designed it because there was a need for it, or we buy it from other places because it needs to be used, and we use it like the progesterone machine. They just flat work.
If we used it and didn't like it, we wouldn't sell it.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But anywho, so we'll let you know when we have some upcoming breedings and let you know when that'll start to be going on.
Yep.
And
watch out for some really cold weather for those of you who are north of the middle of the United States. We've got some rough few days coming up here.
Keep warm, keep safe.
Yeah, keep your puppies and doggies safe.
Keep your doggies in, keep your kitty cats in, whatever.
Yep. That's
Make sure they have plenty of water.
Does it say peace out? Is that how it's going?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
Thanks for watching.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.